Miss Mandee here with the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library, and today I'm bringing you guys a STEM video. And since it's October, other than candy and Halloween, there's also time for creepy creatures. So today we're going to learn the science of spider webs. So we're not going to focus on spiders too much because Miss Mandee doesn't like spiders, but the webs are fascinating. Now, do you know, do all spiders spin webs? No, they don't. Some of them, like the wolf spider, which he's pretty big. He's not as big as a tarantula, but they do look a little hairy. They're like teeny tiny baby tarantulas, but they get in your house a lot. They're harmless, they can't bite you, they're not poisonous, but they might scare you like they scare me. Now, wolf spiders, they don't need web because they kind of chase their prey down like a wolf. They chase it down, so they don't need webs. And let's see, tarantulas, those really big ones that you see in pet stores sometimes that can like fill up most of your hand and really freak me out, they don't build webs either. So they don't have spider webs, but a lot of them do. There are 30,000 to 50,000 different species of spiders in the world. I guess there's that big of a gap because they're not real sure, because some of them are tiny, so they're just kind of, yeah, it's somewhere in that range. But out of all of those different spiders, maybe a handful of them could actually hurt you. Most of them are totally harmless. Doesn't keep me from freaking out when I see one, but that's just me. Some people, my dad, when he was a kid, had one of these creepy guys as a pet. Why anybody would want a tarantula for a pet is beyond me, but they might make you itch. Some tarantulas can bite, but they're not like seriously venomous. It might kind of hurt like a bee sting, but that's it. All right, we're not here to talk about just spiders. We're here to talk about their webs. Yes, I totally made this with glitter glue because that glitter doesn't come off as easy as some other glitter. Not a big fan of glitter. But spider webs are fascinating. These are the kind of webs that you think of most of the time. If you go out in the morning, there's dew all over them and they look like they have crystals hanging on them. That's pretty. I think that's pretty as long as the spider's not in the middle of it like it is here. I would not like that. But spider webs that are round like this and like the one I made are made by orb weavers, okay? So orb weavers make the round ones, the really pretty ones that get all the glittery dew in the mornings, okay? But not all webs look like this. Sometimes you see them stuck between banisters on your stair rail and they're just kind of going back and forth. And sometimes you can see them in bushes where it almost looks like fake spider web covering the top of it. Those are all different kinds of spiders. Different spiders build different webs. We're mainly going to talk about the orb weaver today, and I'll tell you in just a second why. They're pretty cool. All right, so first, what is spider silk made of? And that's what you call this stuff. The web, it's called spider silk, because believe it or not, it's silk. Yeah, just like the silk you're thinking. There's very few insects that produce silk. Is a spider an insect? No, it is its own category called an arachnid. And someone who studies it is called an arachnologist. Yes, I had to look that up to make sure that was a real word. And it is. Those are people that study arachnids. Spiders aren't the only arachnids. Scorpions also fall into that, and a few other types of non-insect bugs. So, but there are a few insects that produce silk. A silkworm is one of them. You can see them dangling from a tree sometimes. But spiders are the pro at producing silk. Now, what is it made of? I mean, it's just like this stretchy, sticky stuff that if you walk through it, you kind of freak out. And if I walk through one face first, I half beat myself to death trying to get it off of me because all I can think of is spider. I have a little bit of something called arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders. But again, most of them can't hurt you. All right, so what is spider silk made of? It's made of proteins and amino acids. That's it. That's all it's made of. But it's super strong, okay? Now, it starts off as a liquid inside a gland in the abdomen of the spider, which is like the back of the spider. That's usually the big bulbous end, okay? So it starts as a liquid solution called spinning dope, and it's made in the spinning gland. Now, we have lots of glands. You have saliva glands in your mouth that make your spit. So you have spit glands in your mouth. Spiders have spinning glands in that big bulbous back end of theirs, okay? Now, this spinning solution, which is liquid, it comes out of the gland and goes through the ducts, okay? Which is sort of like, for lack of a better word, like a little vein that comes out from it that helps it travel, or like one of your small intestines. Just this little thing that comes out of the spinning gland, and that's where all these silk proteins rapidly assemble. They come together really rapidly in this little duct, and then it ends at the spinnerets. So at the very back end of a spider, it usually tips down just a little bit, and that's where the web comes out, and that's called the spinnerets. And this liquid starts to come out, and the spider's very back legs will reach underneath and grab it and start to pull it, stretch it, almost like chewing gum when you stretch it in your mouth. They'll pull it out, and as that liquidy web contacts the air, firms right up. So it is a liquid until air touches it, and then it turns to a solid. It's so cool, okay? Now, do spiders just spin one kind of web? Mm-mm. Those orb spiders I told you about that make the really pretty circular webs, they have kind of a big bulbous round back end because they have 7 different spinning glands. That means they can produce 7 different kinds of silk. I never knew this until I was doing this. So I have kind of a creepy diagram for you. That's the back end of a spider. All these different colors are the different glands that make different web, okay? All right, so we're gonna go through them real quick. The red gland, that's the structural or dragline silk. That's the super, super strong silk that helps it. All right, we're gonna use this little picture here. You see where it's attached at these edges, those straight pieces that come off the round? That's what anchors it down. That's the strong silk right there. And it's not sticky, it's not sticky. So it just hangs on really tight to the bush or the tree or the fence, so it doesn't easily get pulled down, okay? So that's the strong stuff. That's also the same kind of web they release when you see them come down on the single strand of silk and just kind of dangle. They're using the drag line. It's also called rope line. They use it like a rope, okay? All right, go back to this. All right, so that was the red. So the purple gland is something called capture spiral thread. Now this thread is really flexible and stretchy, sort of like a rubber band, okay? So on my little example here, all those connective pieces, some of them are sticky, some of them are not. We'll get to that in a second. But the capture threads are the ones that are going to end up sticky in the end because they capture the prey, okay? That's the purple one. Now, the green gland, that's your auxiliary or backup spiral threads. Those are just to help it keep its structure, help it stay in that pretty round circular form, okay? So they're not used to capture bugs. They're just there to keep the shape. It just holds the shape, okay? All right, that was green. So the teal, or this bluish, really pretty bluish green here, okay? That is the attachment cement. That's where that is made. That is the glue that holds it all together. So, and by the way, orb weavers can build a web like this in just a matter of an hour or two. They do it almost every night because bugs will tear it up. So they're pretty quick at it. Now, the attachment cement is what glues all that together. So they build it, and then every one of these parts where it attaches, they go back and they squirt a little bit of this cement-like stuff that keeps it really stuck together, okay? I don't know how spiders know to do this when they're so little. I don't know, I don't get it. That's why it's so cool. Then we have on this blue, this sort of dark blue, that gland is the tough outer egg case. A lot of spiders lay eggs. Not all of them, like the wolf spider we talked about a minute ago. They have live babies that hitch a ride on the mom's back. They hang out for roughly 2 weeks till they're big enough to catch their own food, and it makes mom look really hairy, but they're really covered in babies. I've seen that in person. It's a little unnerving. Cool, but yeah, a little creepy. So some spiders do actually lay eggs. Well, they gotta keep them safe. Okay, so the inside of the egg casing, after they lay their eggs, that orange gland produces a silk that's really, really soft. So they wrap up their eggs in the soft one, and then going back to that blue, they cover it in a really hard outer casing, okay? It's all silk, but it's different strengths, okay? And then the orange one, no, we already did the orange one. So the yellow one, that is what makes it all sticky. Yep, that yellow, they got double duty going. That is the sticky stuff. And it's called the sticky aqueous, really big science word that means watery. So the sticky aqueous coating. After they build this really cool web, they go back and squirt this solution on it that makes it sticky. Not every bit of it is sticky. The spider doesn't walk on the sticky parts. He walks on the not sticky parts. So he doesn't get stuck. But all the other bugs do, and that's how they have their dinner. Okay? So 7 different kinds of web come out of one spider. That's crazy. Not all spiders produce 7 different kinds, but they all produce more than one because they need it to capture prey, protect themselves or their babies. So they have different uses for them. Now, I'm not real sure how they decide which one they use. It comes down to hormones and chemicals and everything else, but it's really, really cool. The coolest part is how strong these webs are. Spider silk it can absorb 3 times more energy than Kevlar. That's what bulletproof vests are made of. And the reason, now, what bulletproof vests are made of is called a synthetic carbon fiber, okay? Now this carbon fiber is 5 times stronger than spider web, but when it's stretched or bent, it breaks really easily. Now, what did I mention about the spider webs? Parts of it are super stretchy and flexible like a rubber band. Well, spider silk wins this battle because it has a really good balance between being strong and super stretchy. And that makes it 3 times stronger than Kevlar, which is crazy. And if you could gather up enough spider web to weigh the same amount as a piece of steel, so it would take a lot of spider web to do that, but if you could gather up enough, the spider web would actually be stronger than the steel. It's crazy. I don't know, science is awesome. That's why I love it so much. Not only that, but it's antibacterial, it is hypoallergenic, and it is biodegradable. You know what that means? That means that thanks to those features, its strength, scientists are actually looking for ways to reproduce spider silk in a lab. There is my little Halloween cat, Kira, making an appearance in this video. She's very interested in this yarn that we'll get to in a second. Okay, but anyway, thanks to the antibacterial, hypoallergenic, and biodegradable features combined with the strength, scientists are actually looking for ways to reproduce spider silk in a lab so they don't need the spider. They can make it themselves, and they're looking at it for medical purposes. That means one day, if you get injured, you may have your ligament replaced with spider silk. You would really be Spider-Man then. You'd be like part spider. I don't know. That would be cool, though, if you could do that. Spiders spiders, even though they're a little creepy, are really cool. I'm going to leave you with one last spider in this lovely book with the giant spider on the front. We talked about webs doing all kinds of cool things. This water spider right here, you see it? It looks like it's in a big bubble. It is a big bubble. They make a big bubble out of web and trap air in it, and the spider crawls inside of it while it's underwater so it can breathe. That's right. This spider swims down and encases itself in webs so it can breathe underwater. I thought I was safe in the water, but I guess spiders can get in there too. But anyway, one thing that's fun to do, and I'm going to challenge you guys to do it if you have some construction paper. I used a little glitter glue pen, one of those that you squeeze as you draw with it, to make this lovely spider web. It's fun, but it's also a little tricky because you have to think about where everything connects. And another thing I challenge you to do is right here, if you happen to have some yarn, take 2 chairs and try and build your own spider web. This is as far as I got before my cats got way too interested in it and I no longer could build it. But try and make a circular pattern. Remember to use that cement anytime one crosses over. For your cement, I would suggest tying a knot in it. If you want to get super creative with some hot glue, you can do that too. But try and build a spider web. You'll find that it's way harder than you think it is. I don't know how these spiders do it as easily as they do. I guess they're just made for it. So, well, I hope you enjoyed learning about spider silk and spider webs for our creepy creatures today with our science of spider silk. So I hope you guys have a good afternoon, and I will see you next time.